Hey there. In case you don't know me, my name's Bill Hawthorn. I'm a creative real estate investor. I have been for 21 plus years, have done hundreds of transactions without banks. And I've taught students how to do hundreds of deals without banks. So here's the deal. I have found over the years I've coached and done courses and done all kinds of crazy stuff trying to help people get the grasp of creative real estate. Unfortunately, there's this barrier of how much does it cost? So here's what I'm offering you today. I'm offering you some free coaching. And there's no gimmick. There's no other shoe to drop. There's nothing else. I'm going to be very upfront with you on why this is happening so you can understand and actually get something out of it instead of having that little thing in your head talking to you about how I'm going to slam the axe down and you're going to lose it all. Okay? So here's why I'm doing it. First of all, creative real estate in my world, we call it Bill's Planet, has 7 core strategies that we use. And each strategy depends on the math and if the seller is willing to do that or not. Things like lease options and taking over people's mortgages, we call that subject to, or owner financing, or wholesaling lease options, or rehabs, or just wholesaling, just all different kinds of deals. Okay? So what I'm offering you is, first of all, in this video, I'm going to prove to you that I might know what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into a seminar that I did with a bunch of creative real estate investors or want to be creative real estate investors. And what I did is I taught them very cursory, not like a whole class. It was probably about a half an hour. I taught them what the 7 deal structures are. And then I decided that the only way that I know you're tracking with me is if you start telling me how to create the real estate deals. So what I did is I actually mocked up some slides. In other words, I created some slides of actual deals that I've been working on either recently or I have worked on in the past, with examples of sellers that were selling. And then I asked the audience that I had just taught my 7 core strategies to tell me what deal they would do or how they would make the offer. And I wanted to see how it worked. See, when you go to school, they expect you to memorize stuff from the textbooks and then go in and take one of their written tests. Well, in my world, I'd much rather, I was an auto mechanic, and I went to auto mechanic school, and the test was, the car doesn't run, make it run. That was the test, right? Or it was some physical universe thing that I had to do to prove that whatever I had up here correlated into the physical universe, and I was able to apply it. So I think I need to do that with you. It's not all about just learning. It's how can you apply some of that magic that you have up in your head. And that's what this is an example of. Once you see this clip, it's a clip that I took from a video I already have. Once you see this clip, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how you can get your free coaching. Okay? So pay attention to this. It's about a 9-minute clip. Pay attention to what's going on there because there's a lot of things we're talking about. So take some notes and keep track of it because I think I'm going to blow your mind away with how we do deals. Okay? So let's check that out right now, and then I'll come back when it's done. All right? Here we go. Example number 1, the house is worth $200,000. The seller owes $120,000. They have their 3 payments, and PITI means with principal, interest, and taxes and insurance. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So that's a fully loaded payment. Is $1,160, and they're behind 3 payments. The house needs $10,000 in work. The seller's moving, has a new job, trying to change their life, and is flexible on how to get help with this situation. So what deals structure or which deals can we use here to offer them? And how would you go about it? I'm not going to answer this question. I'm going to just be quiet. And if there's dead silence, say la vie.
Give me a sec.
Yeah. Well, what's the first thing you would do, Steve?
House is worth 200. Seller owes 120. There's 80 equity in it. Repayments
what's
is
that
160
percentage?
behind.
What's that percentage? You would take 120, put that into your calculator, and hit the divide button, and then 200. And what does it come up with?
We got 60% equity.
Okay, so that means on this chart right here, anything above this 60, I went to example 2, sorry. 60, 70, 80. See, if you gave them an offer at 50 cents on a dollar, they can't take it because they owe more than what you're giving them, right?
Underwater.
So that means if it's 60% loan to value, because we took 120 divided by 200, told us it's 60%. So that means we could give them any one of these deals, a wholesale deal, rehab retail, getting the deed, lease option. We can make any one of these offers based on the loan to value ratio, right? So mathematically, we can make any one of these offers. But here's the point. What is the seller willing to do is what decides or hones in on which offer you can make. So when you're doing your discovery, you ask questions to find out which one of these deals you can hone in on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we know we could do a wholesale deal, right? So we could sign a contract with them, agreed? And we could go sell it to somebody else and make $5,000, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think the best deal is here? What's the best deal for you? Which one would you think?
No. Probably option to purchase.
I think lease the option.
Or
Okay,
it's also a retail rehab, because what happens when you drop the 10 grand into it? Is the house going to be still worth 210? Or
so
is it
there's the next
230?
barrier. This is good. Good job. This is good. So the next barrier is there's a rule, and the rule is this. If you put money into a house, what do you have to have?
Stake, equity. You have to have some cash.
A deed. So if you put down, so $1,160, right? So $1,160 times 3 is $3,480 plus the 10 grand. So you're going to have $14,000 into this house. If you sign a lease with an option with them, is your $14,000 protected? No, because the landlord could throw you out and they don't have to give you your money back, right? So if I'm going to put $14,000 or $13,480 into this house, I want to get a deed in my name so I can protect my money. Because the only way that I'm going to sell that house and get my money back is to sign a deed. So the deed's got to be in my name. You with me?
Yes.
So now what does that do to the deal structure? Which one do we go to now? It says it right there.
Yeah.
Getting the deed.
Getting the deed.
Right?
Yeah.
So mathematically, we could do any one of these deals. But if we did a slot deal, an option to purchase, well, we could do an option to purchase, right, and make a bunch of money. We could do a wholesale deal. We could do a rehab deal and we could go borrow money from a private lender and go pay cash for it. But if you're just starting out, why do all that when you could just get the seller? It says right here, seller's moving, has a new job, trying to change their life, and is flexible on how to get help with their situation, which means they would consider putting the deed in your name and letting you take over the mortgage payments. See how the data, as you got more data and you talked to the seller and what they're willing to do, see how it just starts to evolve and offer? Am I being too far-fetched by showing you this?
No, Not at all. I see where you're going, and I think it helps strategize which deal you offer
Right.
the
The more you
client that works best for you and works best for them.
exactly.
And that you maximize on your money when you give them the right deal.
Exactly right. Now, here's a caveat to this deal, okay? I put in here the house needs $10,000 worth of work. Does that mean you have to do that work before you sell it?
No, we could sell it.
Nope, not at all.
Too.
We could sell it because we're going to sell if we because the normal rule of thumb is if you pay cash for a house, and that means hard money or a loan or something like that. If you pay cash for a house, you're going to want to sell it for cash. What's that?
I rarely fix them. Just sweep them up and send them off.
Yeah. So if you normally like with a rehab retail, if you buy it for money, put money into it, you're going to want to sell it for money, right? So it's all within 12 months. Normally, if you buy on a terms deal, you're going to want to sell it on a terms deal. So if we get this house subject to, that's a terms deal, meaning that we take over the monthly payments, right? We pay this money, right? And we do the work. Now, just like what the guys are saying, here's what you would do. Suppose you didn't sell it for $200,000, you sold it for $190,000, and you sold it on a handyman special, right? Now all you need is $3,480 for a down payment. To pay the mortgage. So suppose you took over this house and within a week's time you put it back on the market. You got somebody to give you 5% down, which is $10,000. Out of that $10,000, you pay the mortgage at $3,480, right? And you end up with $6,520 in your pocket for doing the deal. That's before you make any profit on the payments or the equity. So you don't need the $1,100. You don't need the $3,480 right away. They're already behind. So if you take a month or 3 weeks to find your buyer, it's not going to kill you. Make sense?
Yes.
But I just want to emphasize this. You're going to get used to this because I've got a bunch of deals, and depending on how long we want to go tonight, we can do this. But I could talk about this all day if you want, just on these 12 deals, because there's so much that you could learn from this. So, and I think this is better than doing it on the whiteboard. I'd rather have just live examples like I put on my emails, right? So,
sure.
So the
as long as you're done by 6 a.m., we should be good, Bill.
Yeah, listen to you. So here's the point, right? You're taking over a mortgage payment already that's in place. This person wants to move on with their life. They're ready to change their life. They're stuck with this house. This house is the barrier for them moving on to the next chapter in their life. So you come along and say, how about if I make your past payments? How about if I absorb, you give me a deed, I absorb all the maintenance, all the repairs, you don't do nothing. You become the bank. And I tell them, well, when you have this mortgage, if the toilet was broken, would you call the bank to come fix it? They'll be like, no. So when you need the grass cut, do you call the bank and tell them to come cut it? They're like, no. That's going to be your position with this house. Nobody's calling you for anything. We're just making payments. And oh yeah, by the way, we're going to make the payments on time, and we're going to help you with your credit. Because your credit's probably bad because you're behind on all these payments. Because they're not only behind on their mortgage payments, the mortgage payments are usually the last thing they're behind on. They're probably behind on their car payments, their electric bills, everything else is behind too. Okay, so you're going to help them with their credit. Pretty incredible, right? We got right into it. You could see how everybody interacted and gave their opinions and what they thought, and how we kind of went off on a little bit of a sidetrack and kind of talked about some other deals. But the important thing is that it's not that hard once you have a little bit of training. You don't need a Yale education or a Harvard education to become have a 6-year degree to become a doctor, though you'll make more money than the doctors do with a lot less education. The reason why is because I've been doing it for 21 plus years. I've done thousands of presentations, hundreds of deals, and I've managed to somehow wade through all the stuff and get the important information. You know, it's crazy to me because a lot of people think with the minor stuff, not the major stuff. So technically, they major in all the minor stuff and never make any money. So what we're talking about here is the major things that you need to understand and you need to comprehend and you need to be able to use while you're doing your deal structuring. Okay? And that's what I believe. I believe that everybody should know how to do this for not $50,000 for a coaching package either. Okay? So, which brings me to the end of this video. What I'm offering you today is if you go in the link in the comment section, and there's a link there, or below this video, there's a link. And what you're going to find is a 10-part series that will walk you through. Remember that little box you saw in the corner that had the deal structures, the 7 deal structures that we were talking about? It'll walk you through all the training you need over the next week or so. It'll show you every day. You'll get a new email with a different strategy of how you actually do it. It's the nuts and bolts of how I do these deals. Okay? Then you decide, maybe you know enough and you want to go try it on your own, or maybe you need me as your coach. Maybe you need to go find somebody else. I don't know what you'll decide. Point is that I don't want you coming into my coaching group or being part of our very unique setting. It's a very family setting type thing. We all know one another. We all help one another. I don't want you to come there unless you're prepared. So this free course that I'm giving you will get you prepared. We'll show you exactly how I operate. We'll show you exactly how we do deals. We'll show you all the good stuff. Nothing hidden, nothing, no secret, nothing to sell you later on. Okay? And that's the reason why I'm doing it. I make a lion's share of my income with real estate, and of course I get paid for all the coaching and stuff like that, but I make a majority of my money with real estate. We do pretty good with real estate. So I have 2 partners, 2 businesses in the software business, and really kind of get around. So the point that I'm making is that enough is enough. I'd like to help you, and this is the way I'm doing it. So if you trust me a little bit, just click on the link, get into the free 10-part series, and I'll show you exactly what I'm made of. I'll put my money where my mouth is so you can make some decisions from there. Okay? Over and out. Thank you for being here, and let's do some deals.